Hi again, Henry Byer here with Strong for Life. In this video, you'll be learning how to do the Turkish get-up, or simply the get-up. This is an excellent exercise for building strength, for building mobility, and for improving your movement ability while carrying weight. So, I'm going to demonstrate the movement in a few different ways. I'm going to do it from going from standing to lying down back to standing, and then I'm going to do it from lying down to standing back to lying down. That is the more traditional way to do the Turkish get-up. I'm also going to demonstrate the get-up using a yoga block and using an actual kettlebell. So let's first start with the standing position, and I'll do it from the side like this. I'm going to use my right arm for this one. So I have my right arm extended overhead, the elbow is locked and straight. I step back with my left foot, drop down into a lunge. I swing my right leg around so that I can reach out to the left side with my left arm and support my weight with my left hand. Then I sweep my my left leg through into a seated position. I'm on my left glute muscle. I drop down onto my left elbow and then onto my back. The weight would be in my right hand here. Then I push off with my right foot and roll onto my left elbow. This is commonly referred to as the 45-degree position. Then I push up into my left hand. I'm pushing away. I'm not letting my ear drop down to my shoulder. I'm always pushing away, pushing into the ground, pushing into that left hand. Then I come up into what's known as a high bridge, really squeezing the right glute in order to do this. Again, the weight is suspended up above me, like so. I have my eye on the weight the whole time here. Then I swing my leg through and put my left knee down to support my weight. And then come up onto my left knee. I can readjust my legs at this point so that I am standing up in this position, in this kneeling position. At this point in time, I can take my eye off of the weight that's in my elevated hand, and from here I stand up into this position, the standing position. So that is a full get-up from the top to the bottom. So now you have an understanding of what the Turkish get-up looks like and a basic sense of how to do it. Now I'm going to show you how to do the get-up using a yoga block and using the kettlebell. So let's begin with the yoga block. So the benefit of using the yoga block is it's light and that it teaches you the proper arm position during the get-up. Because if you move your arm too far out of position, the yoga block will fall off. Because you're not holding the yoga block with your hand like this, you're resting it on your knuckles like so. So a little bit out of position, a little bit of arm, the arm being a little bit out of position, the yoga block falls off. So I'll demonstrate going from standing to lying down and then from lying down to standing. It works the same way. So just step back, come down into the kneeling position. At this point, I want to start looking at the yoga block, or if it was a kettlebell in my hand. I adjust my left leg a little bit so I can reach out with my left arm to support my weight. I swing my left leg through, come down into a sitting position on my left glute here, drop down onto my left elbow, always remembering to keep myself pushing away from this hand or elbow that's supporting me. Then I rock back down onto my back. Going from here to standing is the same thing. I'd have the yoga block in my hand here. I push with my right leg up onto my right elbow, up onto my right hand. I'm keeping an eye on the yoga block the whole time. I come up into the high bridge, swing my left leg through, get my knee underneath me, and then I can come up into my kneeling position, readjust my legs, and stand up. So that's how you can use the yoga block to teach you the proper positioning while you're moving through the different positions of the get up. Now, I will show you with the kettlebell, going from the lying down position. So again, you want to make sure that you have a clear space so that if you drop the kettlebell, it's not going to land on anything that you don't want to break. You lie down next to the kettlebell. I'm on my left side. I have my knees are bent, my hips are bent. I'm sort of in this fetal position. I grab the kettlebell with my left hand. I roll over onto my back. And then with both hands, so now I have my left leg bent, my right leg's angled out a little bit to the right. With both hands, I lift the weight up above my head. Make sure that I have it solidly with my left arm. I drop my right arm to my side. And then pushing with my left foot, I rock onto my right elbow, then up onto my right hand. I lift up into the high bridge. I bring my right leg under me, so I get my knee right under me, and then stand up. I adjust my legs so that I can stand up nicely. Boom, into the standing position. From here, I reverse. Once back into the kneeling position, I keep my eye on the kettlebell. Swing my leg through onto my right glute, then drop down to my right elbow, and then onto my back. I bring my right hand up, and I lower the weight to my chest with both hands, and then I roll over onto my side and put the kettlebell back on the ground. When using lighter weights, you might be able to move the kettlebell around fairly easily with just your arms, but as you grow up and go up in weight, it'll be harder and harder to do that. So learning how to get the kettlebell into position from the beginning is very important. It's a safety feature. Getting the kettlebell into position is really the start of the kettlebell. Then once you have it in the extended arm position while you're lying on your back, then that's where you begin the kettlebell proper. But all of the movements that you did before that are sort of the introduction to the kettlebell and help keep you safe. There are a couple of things to remember when doing the get up, because the get up is basically a fairly straightforward or a simple exercise in that it's going either from lying down to standing, back to lying down, or from standing to lying down, back to standing. The modern version of the get-up has gotten fairly choreographed with very specific movements, and you can practice those each as you do it. And the current way that most people do the get-up is probably sort of like the most efficient way to do it. So this is a good version of the kettlebell, of the get-up to learn. I keep saying kettlebell for some reason. I don't know. This is a great version of the get up to learn because there are some variations that as you progress, you might learn some of those. The next thing you want to think about is you want to keep your elbow locked and straight. It's actually easier to keep your elbow locked and straight when you have a weight in it because you have something to push against. The yoga block is a little light and it's a little hard to push against it in order to get the elbow perfectly straight. So if you don't happen to get your elbow perfectly straight with the yoga block, you want to do your best to do that, but if you don't get it exactly that, it's okay. Because when you do it with the weight, you'll be able to you'll have something to push against. Okay. The next thing is from standing to kneeling and from kneeling to standing, you can have your eyes looking straight ahead. But when you're going from lying down to kneeling or from kneeling to lying down, you want to have your eyeball, at least one eye, looking up at that kettlebell. So in case you lose it, you'll know where it is and you can sort of direct it away from your body, because the last thing that you want to have happen is to have this heavy weight land on top of you. And there are some coaches out there who are fans of the get-up, but they don't like doing heavy get-ups because of the fact that you're moving and having this heavy weight above your head, and if you drop it and it does land on you, it's going to be bad news. So when learning the get-up, now I was just about to say kettlebell and then went into get-up, it was cat. When learning the get-up, really stick with body weight, stick with using the yoga block for learning proper arm position, and then when you're ready, start with a lightweight and then gradually build up. For women, that's going to be probably 8 kilograms, and for men, that could be 12 to 16, just depending on what you're comfortable with. I mean, this is a 16 kilogram kettlebell, and moving it is difficult. So, and that's with experience. So if you have no experience and you're a little nervous, just go with a lighter weight. There's nothing wrong with that. So there you have it. That is a brief introduction into the get-up. You now know what it looks like. You have a basic understanding of what the different positions are and how to move into and out of them. And you just want to practice. And here's another thing to keep in mind is whether you start from lying down to going standing or from standing to lying down, you can break the get-up into its component parts. All you could do is go down to kneeling and then standing up, down to kneeling and standing up, and just get a feel from that. Also, once you're able to do the get-up from standing to lying down or from lying down to standing, you don't have to necessarily reverse the movement. If you go from lying down to standing and you're like, okay, I'm tired, then you just bring the kettlebell down and you put it on the ground and you rest, and then you start again. You don't have to complete the whole movement. That's one nice thing about the get-up is that you can break it up into its parts. And that's a good way to learn it. The final thing I think I want to say about the get-up is it's a slow exercise. You're not trying to race through the get-up. If you race through the get-up, you'll actually smooth over your weak points. If you go nice and slow, you'll discover where your weaknesses are, and that's where you can focus your attention in order to get better at the get-up. With that in mind, I want to encourage you to get out there and do the get-up. I think in my age demographic, which is I'm 53, that this is maybe the best exercise that you can do to keep yourself fit and mobile as you get older. There's definitely other great exercises, but in terms of just moving as a person, practicing this exercise and getting good at it and using some weight with it will really help you age well. Now that I've said that, I want to, again, encourage you to get out there and just practice doing the get-up a little bit every day, 15 minutes a day. When you're doing your reps, when you do a left side, that's 1 rep. If you do your right side, that's 1 rep. And just alternate. Okay? And if you have any questions, of course, write a comment and I will definitely get back to you. And with that, I want to say thanks for watching the video and we'll see you next time.